This is KGW News at 5.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm John Adams. It can be difficult to get justice for victims of crimes, but two local organizations out of Vancouver hope to make it just a little bit easier. Our Deidre Johnson explains how a crime lab tour strengthened the partnership between a local nonprofit and a local enforcement agency seeking justice for victims.
The National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation and the Washington State Patrol host a tour of the Vancouver Crime Laboratory. It's not a tour to show off the lab, but to strengthen the partnership between them to help crime victims.
We established a partnership with them years ago to be part of the solution of ending the backlog of rape kits. And so we just continue that.
Michelle Bart from the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation says by working together, they hope to get justice for those that suffer. She says they work with law enforcement such as the Vancouver Police Department, the Clark County Sheriff's Office, and other jurisdictions around the country.
We have to be at the table in order to be able to work out the kinks, if you will, to make sure that victims, not perpetrators, get the justice in the end.
She says they also must understand how the justice system works.
Victims are not just being victimized by perpetrators, but by the system. And we're not going to take it anymore.
And that includes knowing the role of evidence in a case such as DNA.
DNA doesn't lie, people do. So then once we get there, then we're able as an anti-violence organization to assist our clients and those that need a voice.
The Crime Lab Tour is part of several events to advocate for crime victims and solve cases that impact the community. Michelle says less than 1% of rapists ever see a day in jail.
Sad but true, our laws in this country protect the perpetrators and the criminals more so than the victims. Victims should not have to fight so hard.
With the theme No More Excuses, the hope is the partnership between the nonprofit and local agencies will bring justice to victims of crime.
No more excuses. No more. We're here to say we're going to hold you accountable and we will get justice for our clients one way or another.
Well, if you or someone you know needs more information about the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation, you can visit nwcave.org or call 360-852-8019. Well, thanks to daylight savings time, we get a little bit more sunlight this evening. Unfortunately, we've seen mostly clouds, rain, and even some high wind gusts in the metro area today. Joe Ranieri joining us now. And Joe, are those showers going to move out long enough for folks to get a little outside time in this evening?
They will dry out later on this evening after sunset, but sunset tonight is just a little after 7 o'clock this evening. We're currently seeing temperatures in the low 50s with some showers, and some of those showers have been heavy throughout the last couple of hours, especially throughout a good portion of your afternoon. Along with the showers, we've been seeing that southerly wind pick up right around 20 miles an hour as we take a live look from our Pioneer Courthouse Square camera. Along the Oregon coast, temperature of 52 degrees. We've been seeing the wind and rain throughout the coast, the valley, and the mountains. Basically seeing gusts right around 40, 45 miles an hour in a few spots. That's kind of the peak gusts. Some locations in the higher elevation saw gusts right around 60, but currently we're seeing gusts holding right around 25 to 30 miles an hour along the Oregon coastline, closer to about 30 here in the metro area. But the winds will kind of subside a little bit late tonight and early morning hours. But again, they'll pick up again tomorrow afternoon and in the evening as another front moves onshore. And this system is going to be bringing in more round of wind and rain. Take a look at the Oregon coast tomorrow night. Gusts anywhere from 35 to almost 45 miles an hour along the central Oregon coast. And we'll still see windy conditions heading into parts of Tuesday, but the winds will gradually kind of back off a little bit. We're not going to be seeing constant gusts anywhere from 40 to 40 miles an hour, but we could still see those peak gusts pick up right around that here in the next couple of hours. But this is that system that's bringing in the showers and a little bit of some downpours as well. I shouldn't call it a little. We've seen over about 1/3 of an inch of rain in a few spots. Portland, Vancouver, right around 1/4 to about 1/3, 1/2 of an inch of rain over in wine country and along the Oregon coast. You're going to be clocking in at close to an inch of rain over in Astoria by the end of tonight. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast. And John, I have about 3 days with temperatures right around 70 degrees. I'll talk more about that and when they arrive coming up in a few minutes.
All right, looking forward to that. Thank you, Joe. Well, the Department of Transportation in Washington wants to remind you that paying attention on the road could be the difference between life and death for road workers. This follows a work zone crash that injured 3 people in Federal Way on Wednesday. Now this year, at least 9 washed out workers have been sent to the hospital after drivers crashed into work zones. Adam Gonzalez has been hit 3 times on the job.
Just slow down. I mean, that's really important for, like I said, for my team and my family members here at work to get home. Please slow down.
Governor Jay Inslee signed a bill last year that allows speed cameras to be installed on highways to catch drivers speeding in work zones. Cameras will be in operation starting in July of this year. Well, a Portland book pub is hosting an event to get them out of a financial hole. Sydney Dorner spoke with the owner, bogged down with debt caused by the pandemic and the January ice storm. Sydney, what can you tell us about the event?
John, Rose City Book Pub is a cafe located on Northeast Fremont Street. Almost daily, they host open mics, trivia nights, and other activities for book lovers. But all that fun may come to an end if they don't raise the $15,000 they need to stay open. To reach that goal, they are hosting an auction with over 100 items. Elise Schumacher is a Portland native.
A friend suggested, wouldn't it be cool if there was a bookstore that was also a bar? And I said that would be amazing, but that would have to be in Portland.
After living in LA, she came back to her hometown in 2018, starting Rose City Book Pub.
I was open for about 1.5 years when the pandemic started, and then that was crippling because I had just been starting to make money for the first time, and then all of a sudden I was losing money at a scale that I could never have imagined before.
Rose City Book Pub is a unique space, offering a plethora of books, various cocktails, and cafe-style food. Daily, they host open mics, book readings, and even events for kids.
I think it's cozy. It should feel a little bit like being in your own living room. One of the best compliments I got was that it's the closest thing to not leaving the house. And in particular for the literary people, that's an appeal.
Fire the hot water for you.
Inflation, debt from the pandemic, and the January ice storm have made it tough for Schumacher to keep the book pub alive.
At this point in time, the bills have come due. Everybody I know who owns a restaurant took out a loan the size of a mortgage, and now we have mortgage payments on top of all of our other expenses.
After seeing her struggle, an employee and frequent customer came up with the idea to put on an auction.
That if I could just turn the spiral from a spiral downward into a spiral upward, that I would be fine. And that's true. This is going to change the trajectory.
Her customers came through with almost 200 submissions. The auction offers everything from a Persian dinner to ukulele lessons.
How many people are providing services where they're going to end up spending time with a stranger, but they trusted that the people who come here who would bid on this would be someone that they would want to spend an hour or two with.
The auction is hosted both online and in person at the pub Monday night. Right now, they have an online silent auction on their website where people can place bids ahead of time.
An absolutely diverse selection of things that people have sent. There's something for everybody in this list, and I think it's all going to get picked up, and that will translate into the money that I need. Rose City Book Pub will host their auction Monday from 7 to 11 p.m. You can also join them via Zoom and place your bids online. John, back to you.
All right, Sydney, thank you. Well, today about 1,000 people gathered at the Red in East Portland to celebrate beer, cider, and the women who make it all happen. Well, more than 50 brewers from the Pacific Northwest attended the 9th annual She Brew Beer and Cider Festival. The event featured a variety of beers, ciders, hop waters, and more for attendees to try out, as well as women-owned food carts and vendors. One brewmaster says this is also a chance for brewers to come up with new recipes.
So it ends up being a really exciting festival because we're all wanting to make beers for each other, and so they end up being creative and specially made and kind of like research and development too for a lot of breweries. So you end up with these really cool one-off, sometimes historical, sometimes strange, delicious beers.
Well, on top of networking opportunities for home brewers, this is also a chance for you to see how beer is made from start to finish. Well, a different kind of service was held today at a church in Vancouver. Every second Sunday of the month, River City Church cancels its usual gathering to hold community-based events. And for the first time, they offered a mental health day. They had sensory stations for all ages, calming exercises and resources. But what everyone lined up for is a therapy llama.
I think that people are like, what? I've never seen that before. And so, yeah, there's a pretty long line right now to pet the therapy llama, and you can actually put a carrot in your mouth, and the therapy llama, it'll kiss you to eat the carrots. What's more therapeutic than a llama kiss?
What a lot of fun. Well, the church says nearly 200 people showed up to the event, and while this was their first mental health day, they say it won't be their last.